10 countries that banned the internet. 10. North Korea. It should not be surprising that the people of North Korea are not allowed to use the internet. The data on the population is recorded online and is controlled by an infamous state agency, Transmission Surveillance Bureau or Euro 27. Every activity of North Koreans' electronic devices goes under bureau scrutiny. They can do so because of the spyware and software customized by the government. Depending on the device, the software is modified to spy on people, and if citizens are caught browsing illegal websites or getting information from the rest of the world, then the consequences are severe. The report by Amnesty International states that in 2016 any ordinary citizen caught reaching out to their loved ones who have fled abroad risks being sent to political prison camps or other detention facilities. 9. Cuba. The spread of the internet in the country is still recent, considering until 2018, people relied exclusively on Wi-Fi hotspots and internet cafes. The super-slow old 3G service was restricted to state employee journalists and foreign businesses. All thanks to ETEXA, a national telecommunications company and the only provider, the internet has almost reached the country in past few years. From the government's perspective, the ETEXA is quite convenient too. For example, recently in June 2021, when people came out on the streets against the government's management of the national health crisis, it was not a hassle to shut down the whole country. All they had to do was block the internet, which means the locals had no means to communicate and share their thoughts with the world. 8. China. This should not come as big news, as we are talking about the Chinese government who keeps a tab on their citizens' texts and online services. The political party possesses an entire control over censoring and restricting what it thinks is against the regime. As an example, in 2018, Weibo, one of the most popular and used social media platforms in China, suspended many of its accounts, followed by a warning from the authorities that told the company to clean up all the wrong-oriented and inferior information. Other instances are media blackouts during the protests in Hong Kong and another internet blackout in 2010 in Xinjiang, which lasted for almost 10 months and aimed to discontinue the riots that arose due to ethnic conflict between Muslims and Han Chinese. 7. Ethiopia. The annual reports from non-governmental organizations like Human Rights say that internet shutdowns are frequent in the country. As a community that relies almost on the internet, we all have struggled with no connection. Unfortunately, internet bans happened a lot in Ethiopia between 2015 and 2017, and it happened more recently in January 2020. The federal military, who are in control of the western zones of the country, disconnected the mobile services, landlines, and internet services throughout the area. This shutdown was allegedly aimed at supporting the government military operations against the Armed Wing, or Oromo Liberation Front. 6. Azerbaijan. The country is dominated by the autocratic leadership of Ilham Aliyev, who took the post in 2003. Since then, the leader of the opposition party and many other international organizations state that Aliyev has created a repressive environment. Like in September 2020, the government blocked every social media and communication platform to prevent large-scale provocations from Armenia. Both countries have had a bitter relationship since the 1990s. Even the opposition party leader's internet services were cut off before a television interview. 5. Iran. The Iranian government is known to block online platforms from time to time, such as Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, etc., to restrict and control the protests that arose in 2018. The locals have found a way to bend the rules using the VPN services. However, this could soon change. The parliament is moving ahead with a restrictive internet bill, and if passed, this would strengthen the government's legal authority to block foreign websites and require people to register there to access the internet. 4. Myanmar. In February 2021, the military power took over and immediately cut the internet to prevent any leak of the information about the coup. The strategy did work, as it took hours before the people of Myanmar found out that the government has fallen. The news reached everywhere, and despite the ban on the internet, The locals discovered a way to protest and came on the streets demanding the release of Aung San Suu Kyi, the elected leader. 3. India. India has a history of periodical internet shutdowns and probably holds a world record for it. According to the report in 2020, nearly 70% of global internet shutdowns happened in the country. Among these, 90% happened in Kashmir, which has experienced the hardest shutdowns in the world. For national security reasons, the region was in complete internet blackout from 2019 to 2020, and after that only allowed a 2G speed. 2. Jordan. In 2021, a hashtag #KeepItOn started a global movement against internet shutdowns. The trending hashtag urged the government to instantly put an end to the practice of blocking internet access. During politically sensitive issues, the government resorts to the internet and digital shutdowns, and whoever went against the regime would land into trouble. In April 2021, it pressured the media to remove the online content about the alleged coup plot. 1. Belarus. After the 2020 election, the leader banned all the social media platforms because people came on the street. But why? The citizens were not convinced by the election results and were protesting against the 25-year rule of Alexander Lukashenko. The police used various brutal methods on protesters. Eventually, the protest faded, but the picture of police brutality crossed the borders.